My name is Dr. Switzer. Today we're going to discuss peer editing. Many students groan when they hear their teachers mention this phase of the writing process. Hopefully by the end of this lesson, you will not have the same reaction. What is peer editing? Peer editing is working with someone to help improve, revise, and edit his or her writing. Why do we edit our peers' writing? To learn from our peers. There are 3 steps to peer editing. Number 1, compliments. Number 2, suggestions. And 3, corrections. When we use compliments, stay positive. Remember you're helping to change someone's writing and think about how you would feel if someone was telling you how to change your writing. Some ways you could start compliments are tell the writer what you think he or she did well. I really loved your topic. I think you used a lot of good details. I like when you use the word spectacular. My favorite part was the beginning because it was funny. And this was really fun to read because it made me laugh. Now we're going to read a paragraph and then we're going to look at ways that we could form compliments. I was running around my house over and then my cat Tommy started going around crazy. He ran away for every time I got close. All of a sudden, he looked at me and I looked at him, and then he ran into the tub, splashing in the water. I was so surprised, I yelled. I quickly reached to get him. He was so scared, he jumped out of my arms back into the tub. Finally, I was able to get him out with the help of a towel. I was happy he was okay and didn't drown. Here are 3 compliments we could use with this writing. Number 1, this is a fun story because I have a cat and I could totally visualize the events in this story. Number 2, I really like when you use the word splash to give a dramatic flair. Number 3, my favorite part was when the cat jumped into and out of the tub because I know cats do not like them. The next step is suggestions. Making suggestions means giving the author some specific ideas about how to make his or her writing better. Remember to stay positive and be specific. Instead of, it didn't make sense, say, if you add more details after this sentence, it would be clearer. Or instead of, your word choice was boring, say, instead of using the word good, maybe you could use the word exceptional. Here are some areas that you may want to make suggestions about. Look at word choice. Did the author choose interesting words? Look at using details. For example, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. Did they use the senses while writing? Look at their organization. Also, can you understand what the author is trying to say? Is it in the correct sequence? Look at sentences. Are the sentences too long or too short? And then next, look at the topic. Does the author stick to the topic or talk about other things that don't really fit? Let's reread the paragraph again and then look at suggestions. I was running around my house over and then my cat Tommy started going around crazy. He ran away from every time I got close. All of a sudden, he looked at me and I looked at him and then he ran into the tub, splashing in the water. I was so surprised, I yelled. I quickly reached to get him. He was so scared, he jumped out of my arms back into the tub. Finally, I was able to get him out with the help of a towel. I was happy he was okay and didn't drown. Let's look at some example suggestions from the paragraph. Number 1, could you specifically explain why you were running around? 2, were you trying to bathe your cat? 3, have you thought about using the 5 senses to get your reader to help visualize the experience? The third step in peer editing process is making corrections. Corrections means checking your peer's paper for spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, missing punctuation, and incomplete or run-on sentences. Let's review the paragraph and think of 3 corrections. I was running around my house over, and then my cat Tommy started going around crazy. He ran away from every time I got close. All of a sudden, he looked at me and I looked at him. Then he ran into the tub, splashing in the water. I was so surprised, I yelled. I quickly reached to get him. He was so scared, he jumped out of my arms back into the tub. Finally, I was able to get him out with the help of a towel. I was happy he was okay and didn't drown. Some examples of corrections. Number 1, let's look to see if we can find any run-on or fragmented sentences to see if any punctuation needs to be added or deleted. 2, let's look at our word usage and spelling next. Things to remember with peer editing. Stay positive. Try to make suggestions and corrections in a positive way. Be specific. Give the author specific ideas on how to improve his or her writing. 3, complete all 3 steps: compliments, suggestions, and corrections. Next, we have a sample form to help you with peer editing. They have 4 questions. Number 1, are there any sentences that the author needs to add in order for you to understand his or her writing better? Yes or no? Are there any sentences that the author should remove in order to make his or her writing more clear and concise? Yes or no? Does the author use transition words? Yes or no? And if yes, highlight them. If no, point out some places where he or she could add them. And number 4, did the sentences remain focused on the topic? Yes or no? Another sample that could help you. The first question, does the author have a clear beginning, middle, and end? Yes or no? Does the beginning grab your attention? Yes or no? Does the author use show, don't tell strategy? Yes or no? Does the author use sensory details? Yes or no? Name one thing you loved about the author's writing. Be specific. And name one thing the author can do to improve his or her writing. Be specific. Let's review one more time with this video. This concludes our lesson on peer editing. I hope you will feel more comfortable with this phase of the writing process in the future.